Have you ever felt like someone is quietly pulling the strings on your emotions? Emotional control, more formally known as emotional manipulation, can be so subtle that you might not even realize it's happening until you're deeply entangled. By definition, emotional manipulation is a tactic used by individuals to control, influence, or gain power over someone by exploiting their emotions, often without the victim's awareness. In other words, a manipulative person uses your feelings as levers to psychologically control you. This kind of behavior is toxic. It stems from a person's need to dominate and often traces back to their own insecurities or past trauma. Recognizing emotional manipulation is absolutely critical for your well-being. Why? Left unchecked, this mental manipulation can erode your self-esteem, induce anxiety or depression, and even lead to post-traumatic stress in severe cases. The toxic behavior of an emotional controller can quietly chip away at your sense of self until your life no longer feels like your own. By learning to spot the warning signs of emotional abuse early, you empower yourself to set boundaries and seek help before more damage is done. In this presentation, we'll explore 5 major warning signs that you may be under someone's emotional control. Each section will focus on one red flag, from isolation and gaslighting to guilt-tripping, excessive jealousy, and constant criticism, and we'll illustrate each with a real-life scenario. These examples will help you recognize patterns of emotional manipulation and toxic behavior in your own life. By the end, you'll not only understand these warning signs, but also hopefully feel more self-aware and prepared to respond. Remember, knowledge is power. If any of these signs hit close to home, it may be time to take a closer look at your relationship dynamics. Let's dive in. Warning sign 1. Isolation from friends and family. One of the earliest and clearest warning signs of emotional control is isolation. A controlling person often tries to cut you off from your support network, your friends, family, or anyone who might offer an outside perspective. This process usually starts subtly. Perhaps your partner employs a gradual approach to instill doubt and distance you from supportive relationships, making more and more overt or subtle demands on your time, effectively isolating you from other connections. At first, it might seem loving, I just want to spend all my time with you, or protective, your friends don't really care about you like I do. But over time, the true intent emerges. Isolation is the lifeblood of emotional abuse. By cutting off your support system, abusers gain more power and control over you. Scenario: imagine you have a close friend you used to see every week. After you start dating Alex, however, he frequently comments that this friend is a e.g. bad influence, or e.e. doesn't really understand you. At first, you brush it off, but Alex's comments intensify. He gets moody or picks a fight every time you plan a girls' night out. Soon, to avoid conflict, you stop seeing your friend. Next, Alex begins complaining about your family. They're meddling or don't want you to be happy. You notice you've missed the last few family gatherings to keep Alex calm. Piece by piece, your world shrinks until the only person left in it is the one controlling you. This is not an accident, it's a deliberate strategy. As one expert puts it, abusers isolate victims to make them rely only on the abuser for emotional support, often by disguising their jealousy as concern or love. If you find yourself cut off from friends, seldom allowed to go out without your partner's permission, or feeling guilty for spending time with anyone else, take notice. Healthy relationships encourage outside connections. Toxic relationships do the opposite. Isolation weakens the external support you need to recognize the abuse, trapping you further in the manipulator's web. A loving partner will respect your other relationships. A controlling partner will methodically erode them. Consider whether anyone in your life is gradually turning you against those you once trusted. It's a serious red flag that you're being emotionally controlled. Warning sign 2. Gaslighting and constant self-doubt. Have you started to question your own reality or sanity in a relationship? If so, you may be experiencing gaslighting, one of the most insidious warning signs of emotional manipulation. Gaslighting is a deliberate tactic where the manipulator twists the truth, denies facts, and invalidates your feelings to make you doubt your perceptions. Over time, it can erode your confidence in your own memory and judgment. In fact, gaslighting often results in the erosion of your own perceptions, memory, and even your sanity, leaving you constantly wondering if you're crazy or too sensitive. This form of psychological control is exceptionally cruel. By making you distrust your own mind, the manipulator gains control over your reality. Scenario: let's say your partner, Jamie, frequently makes hurtful jokes at your expense. One evening at a party, Jamie publicly mocks your job in a way that leaves you embarrassed. On the drive home, you calmly express that the comment bothered you. Instead of apologizing, Jamie frowns and says, "I never said that. You're imagining things." Your stomach drops. You clearly remember the sting of the remark, but Jamie is so adamant that you begin to question yourself. Did you mishear? Later, Jamie adds, "And even if I did, you're just too sensitive. Learn to take a joke." Now you're really confused and ashamed. This scenario is textbook gaslighting. The belittling comment is denied and reframed as your fault for overreacting. Over time, repeated incidents like this can make you second-guess everything. You start to wonder if there is any truth to the critiques and whether your feelings are justified. You find yourself making excuses for the manipulator's behavior, wondering what's wrong with me, and trusting their version of events over your own. Gaslighting is a toxic behavior that can be devastating. A victim may end up in a downward spiral of self-doubt, feeling like nothing they remember or feel can be trusted. If you notice that you're constantly apologizing, frequently thinking, maybe I am too sensitive slash forgetful slash crazy, or you dread that any disagreement will be flipped to seem like it's your fault, these are warning signs. Healthy relationships acknowledge and respect feelings, even during conflicts. In contrast, a gaslighter will deny your reality, often with a calm demeanor that makes their lies more believable. Remember, you are not crazy. Your feelings matter. If someone's making you question your own sanity, that's a huge red flag that emotional manipulation is at play. Warning sign 3: guilt tripping and emotional blackmail. Another common sign of emotional control is when someone constantly makes you feel guilty or obligated, essentially guilt-tripping you to get their way. Guilt is a powerful emotion, and manipulators know it. They will exploit your empathy and conscience to influence your decisions. Often, guilt-tripping sounds loving or pitiful on the surface, but it's a calculated tactic to bend your behavior. For example, a manipulative partner might say, "After all I've done for you, how can you do this to me?" Or, "If you really cared about me, you would do X for me." These phrases are designed to instill shame and a sense of obligation. Over time, repeated guilt tripping erodes self-esteem and makes you feel like you're always in debt to the other person. You start to believe that prioritizing your own needs is selfish, and that saying no will make you a bad partner or friend. This is exactly what the manipulator wants: compliance and constant self-blame on your part. Scenario: guilt tripping. You've been looking forward to a weekend away with friends that was planned long before you met your boyfriend, Dan. As the trip nears, Dan's mood sours. He says softly, "I guess I'll just stay home alone. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine." Somehow, you feel a pang of guilt. Later, he adds, "I thought we'd spend more time together. If you loved me as much as I love you, you wouldn't want to leave me here." Under pressure, you cancel your trip. Instead of gratitude, Dan remarks, "Well, if you really cared in the first place, I wouldn't have had to ask. Now you're the one apologizing." In this scenario, Dan is using guilt as a weapon, highlighting his supposed loneliness and your lack of care to make you feel responsible for his emotions. This emotional manipulation leverages your kindness against you, Closely related to guilt tripping is emotional blackmail, which takes the manipulation up a notch. In emotional blackmail, the controller explicitly or implicitly issues threats or dire ultimatums to coerce you. They might threaten to hurt themselves, end the relationship, harm you, or otherwise create a crisis if you don't comply with their wishes. It's an extreme form of manipulation that deliberately exploits your fear, love, or duty. An example of emotional blackmail is a partner saying, "If you ever leave me, I'll kill myself," or "I'll tell everyone your secrets if you don't do what I want." According to psychologists, emotional blackmail encompasses exploiting someone's emotions and vulnerabilities to exert control, manifesting as threats to self-harm or to leave unless specific demands are met. The result is that you feel trapped, responsible for preventing the threatened catastrophe. Scenario: emotional blackmail. Maya's husband Rob has a volatile temper. Lately, he's been pressuring her to quit a hobby she loves because it takes time away from him. When Maya hesitates, Rob's frustration boils over. He says, "If you really cared about this marriage, you would give that up for me. Maybe I should just move out since I clearly come second to your hobby." Maya is stunned. Is he really threatening to leave? Sobbing, she agrees to quit the hobby. Rob then hugs her and says, "See? I just need you to prove you're committed to us." In that moment, Maya felt she had no choice but to give in or lose her marriage. Rob's ultimatum is classic emotional blackmail. By threatening to abandon the relationship, he forced Maya to abandon something important to her. If you find that someone frequently makes you feel guilty for asserting your own needs or holds you emotionally hostage with threats, these are major warning signs of psychological control. Toxic individuals know that caring people will sacrifice their own happiness to keep others happy or safe, and they take advantage of that. Remember, in a healthy relationship, you won't be punished for saying no or having your own life. Love is not a ledger of debts, and it should never require you to live in fear of what the other person will do if you don't comply. Feeling consistently guilty or afraid in a relationship is a red flag that you're being manipulated, not loved. Warning sign 4: excessive jealousy and controlling behavior. Do you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells, trying to avoid someone's jealousy or anger? Excessive jealousy and overbearing control are hallmark signs of an emotionally controlling person. While a little jealousy is human, a manipulator uses jealousy as justification to control every aspect of your life, from whom you talk to what you wear, to how you spend your time. In a controlling relationship, this might start as seemingly caring interest, "Text me when you get there so I know you're safe," but can quickly escalate into surveillance and domination. "Share your phone location 24/7 so I always know where you are." Many toxic relationships begin with one partner exerting control through jealous, possessive behaviors, whether subtle or explicit. They might insist on choosing your friends, often trying to replace your friends with theirs, monitor your social media and messages, demand constant updates on your whereabouts, or snoop through your personal phone and email without permission. Every action is framed as, "I'm just looking out for you," or "I can't help it, I just love you so much." But make no mistake, this is control, not love. Scenario: you notice that whenever you receive a text, your partner, Sam, immediately wants to know who it's from. He has already banned you from talking to 2 of your old college friends because he deemed them immoral. Last week, Sam saw you smiling at a message and his face darkened. He demanded to see your phone. When you refused, "Everyone deserves privacy," he blew up, accusing you of hiding something and betraying him. Now, to avoid these accusations, you preemptively show Sam your phone and even let him read your messages. He also insists you wear certain outfits that he considers appropriate, and he gets irrationally angry if you come home 10 minutes later than expected. In Sam's mind, any independence on your part is a threat to his control. He may say, "It's because I worry," or "People might get the wrong idea about you." but these excuses camouflage unhealthy possessiveness. In a dysfunctional, controlling relationship, it's common for the controlling partner to decide what clothes you wear, who your friends can be, check your social media, or even snoop through your phone, violating your privacy and autonomy. By accepting these violations, perhaps reluctantly at first, you inadvertently allow the circle of control to tighten around you. Excessive jealousy often also involves constant suspicion and accusation. You might find yourself accused of flirting or cheating with zero justification, or being interrogated about innocent interactions. This toxic behavior is not about love or fidelity, it's about power. The controller's goal is to keep you off balance and fearful of doing anything that might set them off, effectively training you to self-isolate and self-censor. They may even justify their surveillance and demands as normal. All couples share their passwords. If you have nothing to hide, why won't you do it? But ask yourself, in a healthy relationship, would your partner act like your warden? Trust and respect are fundamentals of real love, whereas mistrust and control are the tools of abuse. If you feel more like someone's property than their partner, constantly monitored, accused, or restricted, then you are experiencing a serious warning sign of psychological manipulation. No matter what excuses are given, it's just because I love you so much. Controlling behavior fueled by jealousy is toxic and has no place in a respectful, loving relationship. Warning sign 5. Constant criticism and belittling. The final warning sign we'll discuss is constant criticism and belittling, a pattern where someone persistently puts you down, mocks, or dismisses you, eroding your confidence over time. In an emotionally controlling dynamic, criticism isn't occasional constructive feedback. It's a relentless campaign that leaves you feeling small, unimportant, and inferior. Often, it starts subtly. Maybe sarcastic jokes at your expense or backhanded compliments. You might hear things like, "You're so dumb, just kidding," or "I'm only trying to help you improve." Because it's not always outright yelling or insults, you might brush it off initially. But belittling is a form of verbal and emotional abuse that usually happens in private and escalates over time. The danger, as one relationship expert notes, is that these comments make you second-guess yourself and wonder if there's any truth to them. Over weeks and months, the cumulative effect of belittling is devastating. It wears you down, slowly chipping away at your self-esteem. Scenario: consider a woman named Nina, whose partner, Rob, never misses a chance to critique her. When Nina got a promotion at work, Rob's response was, "They probably just felt sorry for you." If she dresses up for an event, he smirks, "You sure you want to wear that?" It's a bit bold for you. In conversations, he corrects her stories in front of others, saying, "No, you got that wrong," as usual. Each remark is delivered with a condescending chuckle or a just joking disclaimer. Nina laughs along uneasily, trying not to seem upset. But inside, those words hurt. She starts to believe that maybe she is less competent, less attractive, less smart, just like Rob implies. She finds herself apologizing for things she didn't even do and saying, "I'm sorry, you're right," often to preempt his critiques. This is classic belittling and criticism abuse. Rob's constant put-downs are not jokes, they are weapons. In fact, name-calling, relentless criticism, condescension, and jokes that disguise insults are all common tactics abusers use to demean and control their victims. Unlike normal teasing or the occasional argument, this abuse is a consistent pattern that erodes self-worth. Over time, constant criticism can make you feel like you can't do anything right. Victims often describe feeling smaller and smaller, as if each insult shrinks their sense of self. You might develop crushing self-doubt and even start to internally repeat the disparaging remarks, "I am stupid," "I am a failure," which is exactly what the abuser wants. If someone in your life is always putting you down, dismissing your achievements, or making you feel foolish, recognize this for what it is: Toxic behavior aimed at breaking your confidence. Often, belittling is combined with other tactics like gaslighting. For instance, if you object to the insults, the abuser may accuse you of being too sensitive and make you question your own reactions. This one-two punch of criticism and invalidation traps you in a cycle where you doubt yourself and depend more on the abuser's approval, which never truly comes. Remember, healthy relationships involve mutual respect and support. No one who truly cares about you will habitually make you feel worthless or humiliated. Constant criticism is emotional abuse, plain and simple, and it's a glaring warning sign of an emotionally controlling person. In summary, emotional controllers often follow a predictable playbook of toxic tactics. We've discussed 5 major warning signs. 1. Isolation, where they cut you off from your support network to make you more dependent. 2. Gaslighting, which distorts your reality and fills you with self-doubt. 3. Guilt tripping and emotional blackmail, using your love and fear against you to ensure your compliance. 4. Excessive jealousy and controlling behavior, turning your life into an object of their monitoring and rule setting. And 5. Constant criticism and belittling, a steady assault on your self-esteem through insults and humiliation. If you recognized any of these patterns in your own relationships, take a step back and evaluate the situation with a clear eye. Being aware of these warning signs is the first vital step toward reclaiming your autonomy. Emotional manipulation thrives in secrecy and confusion, so by naming these behaviors, you shine a light on the darkness that a manipulator tries to keep you in. Self-awareness is your best defense. Understand that none of these behaviors are normal or acceptable in a healthy relationship. It's not because they love you or just how relationships are. It's abuse, and you deserve better. What should you do if you suspect you are being emotionally controlled? Start by trusting yourself again. Reach out to people you trust, a friend, family member, or a mental health professional, and share what's been happening. Often, an outside perspective will confirm what you already feel deep down, that these behaviors are not okay. Setting boundaries is crucial. The moment you push back against toxic control, you're asserting your right to be treated with respect. In some cases, especially if the manipulation has escalated to threats or any form of abuse, you may need to distance yourself from the relationship altogether and seek support to do so safely. Remember, as difficult as it may be to break away, staying in an emotionally abusive situation can cause long-term harm. Studies link it to anxiety, depression, trauma, and loss of self-identity. Finally, encourage self-awareness and self-compassion. It's easy to blame yourself after enduring emotional abuse. You might think, "How did I let this happen?" or feel ashamed for not seeing the signs sooner. Don't. The very nature of psychological manipulation is that it's sneaky and gradual. Anyone can fall into its trap. What matters now is that you see the truth and take steps toward a healthier environment. You are not alone, and help is available. Whether it's confiding in a friend, reading resources on toxic behavior, or speaking with a counselor, every act of reaching out is a step towards freedom. In conclusion, emotional manipulation in any form, be it isolation, gaslighting, guilt, jealousy, or belittlement, is unacceptable. Love should never feel like a tightrope walk where you constantly fear missteps. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, trust, support, and freedom, not control. By recognizing these 5 warning signs of emotional control, you've taken an important step in protecting your mental and emotional well-being. Stay alert, trust your inner voice, and don't hesitate to seek help. You deserve relationships that lift you up, not ones that tear you down. Stay strong, stay informed, and above all, stay true to yourself. Your emotional freedom is worth fighting for.